At 5, we have a tornado watch in effect for portions of the 4-state area. I'm going to break this down for you.
The Joplin Fire Department changes policy in an effort to attract more recruits. And
the House January 6th committee scores a big win following a federal judge's ruling allowing more access to RNC records. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill with those details and what lawmakers want out of the upcoming public hearings.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We're looking at a threat of severe weather across the area tonight and into early tomorrow. This is KOIM News at 5. Let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we've had periods of showers and thunderstorms all day long, non-severe, just kind of moderate thunderstorms rolling through, and it's been chilly. We've been sitting mainly into the 50s all day, but we have a warm front that is lifting in. So this is going to warm us up a little bit as we go through the evening hours. We're popping into the low to mid 60s. Some areas in our southern counties will go into the upper 60s, but you can see a tornado watch. So a sliver of southeastern Kansas, all of our northeastern Oklahoma counties, and that is the general area that has the highest severe weather threat. We still have a threat north and east of this watch box, but the greater threat is back across northeastern Oklahoma. Still scattered thunderstorms, non-severe, rolling through, but this is with the warm front, so this is going to clear things out. You can see not much going on out through southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. Thunderstorms building to the west. We're going to break this down for you all coming up here in just a bit.
See you then. Now is the time to be prepared for severe weather in the event that you need to go to a shelter yourself. The Director of Emergency Management in Joplin advises that you have a change of clothes, water, a weather radio, a charger, and a device that has a weather app. In Joplin, every public school has a FEMA shelter, and so does Missouri Southern.
The thing to remember is we average about 10 minutes between when a tornado is sighted and when one actually touches down. Usually that's not enough time to get to a shelter, so it's always best to try and shelter in place.
You can find links to shelters and road conditions on our website, KOIMnewsnow.com. The tornado that hit Andover, Kansas Friday night damaged more than 1,000 buildings, generating winds of up to 165 miles per hour and carved a path of destruction nearly 13 miles long. According to the Andover Fire Chief Chad Russell, up to 400 buildings in the Wichita suburb are destroyed. The National Weather Service says that EF3 tornado injured several people but did not take any lives. The twister was on the ground for 21 minutes Friday evening. When severe weather strikes, you're going to want to stay informed, and you can do that by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the KOIM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team is going to live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. The Joplin Fire Department is looking to fill some positions, and they're changing some of their hiring policies to do it. The fire department put out a Facebook post calling for people to apply to be firefighters. In the past, the department required certain training and certifications as a prerequisite for employment. Now the department is taking a different approach to bringing in new recruits.
We're going to look at each individual applicant as individuals themselves and look at their qualities and will they be a good fit for the Joplin Fire Department, and then we're going to train them while they're here.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about the changes the department is making and from a firefighter who's spent the last 14 years with the department. Authorities in Quapaw, Oklahoma arrest a suspect accused of shooting a man over the weekend. Saturday morning, police responded to a call of a shooting in the 400 block of South Chestnut in Quapaw. When officers arrived, they found a man with a gunshot wound to the chest. He was taken to the hospital and has survived. Authorities later arrested 48-year-old Mark Dougherty for the shooting. Dougherty is charged with first-degree attempted murder and possession of illegal drugs. A jury has convicted the first person of assaulting a police officer during the January 6th attack on our Capitol, and the assailant just happens to be a former police officer himself. Reporter Skylar Henry has details from Capitol Hill.
A jury has convicted former NYPD officer Thomas Webster of assaulting an officer during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Prosecutors showed Webster using a flagpole to assault D.C. officer Noah Rathburn. Webster claimed self-defense.
We had a video that depicted exactly what transpired here, including the officer punching Tom at a time when it wasn't necessary.
This comes as the congressional committee investigating the attack is looking for new information for some members of Congress. The committee believes Congressman Andy Biggs, Mo Brooks, and Ronnie Jackson all have information that is relevant to the investigation and are asking the lawmakers to volunteer the information. Congressman Jackson's name has been linked to messages sent by accused Oath Keepers on January 6th who wanted to protect the congressman during the riot. And Congressman Brooks is facing a civil lawsuit over the speech he gave that day.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass.
The January 6th committee won its most recent court case when a Trump-appointed federal judge ruled the Republican National Committee must turn over some of its data. Judge Timothy Kelly sided with the January 6th committee as it seeks the RNC data, saying its fundraising efforts after the 2020 election helped stoke violence at the Capitol.
We're seeing protesters overcome the police.
That attack has helped contribute to severe staffing shortages in the U.S. Capitol Police Force. Today, for the first time, contractors have begun taking over some of the USCP's duties. Capitol security officers, who are not sworn officers, will be unarmed and will not wear police uniforms. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Webster was convicted on all 6 counts in his indictment. The assault charge is punishable by up to 20 years in prison, although sentencing guidelines likely will recommend a shorter prison term. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is leading a congressional delegation in Poland today, thanking the ally for its support and sending a signal to the world of U.S. commitment to Ukraine. The speaker met with Ukraine's president over the weekend as the first civilians were freed from a battered steel plant in Mariupol. Fighting rages on in the eastern part of Ukraine, and Ukrainian soldiers are still outnumbered and outgunned. President Biden's request for an additional $33 billion for Ukraine is before the Senate. Still ahead, raising awareness of a cancer that can strike young adults.
Melanoma Monday, a reminder to get checked. I'm Dina Demetrius with dermatologist's advice.
Plus, the latest on the prospect of a COVID vaccine for young kids. That's next in Healthwatch. Topping today's Healthwatch, COVID-19 vaccines might be available for children under 5 years old by this summer. The FDA announced it's reserving 3 dates in June for its vaccines and related biological products advisory committee to meet with Moderna and Pfizer BioNTech. The FDA says it'll consider authorization for younger children shortly afterward. 3 out of every 1,000 people in the U.S. have died of COVID since the start of the pandemic, and overall, about 12 out of every 1,000 seniors in the U.S. have died of COVID. The CDC says over the last 2 years, the disease has killed more than 993,000 people in the U.S. Melanoma Monday is a day to raise awareness for the most serious form of skin cancer. Melanoma is one of the most common cancers found in young adults, especially young women. Dina Demetrius has one woman's story and her message to others.
Leah Adams says her life forever changed after being diagnosed with melanoma 2.5 years ago. She was 26.
I was embarrassed because I felt like I gave myself cancer, because I thought about all the times I should have worn sunscreen. I shouldn't have gone in a tanning bed.
As her dad was battling melanoma, her family urged her to get a suspicious mole checked.
It was starting to become black in the middle, uneven borders, edges, and there was a red ring.
Tanning beds are high risk behavior for melanoma and skin cancers. So even one trip to a tanning bed increases your risk of melanoma.
Dr. Melissa Piliong is a Cleveland Clinic dermatologist. The American Academy of Dermatology urges everyone to do regular skin checks. Follow the ABCDE rule: asymmetry, irregular border, varying color, diameter, melanomas are usually more than 6 millimeters, and evolving.
They may have symptoms suddenly like they itch or hurt.
Leah had surgery to remove her melanoma and some lymph nodes to see if the cancer had spread. Luckily, it was caught early.
I realized that I can just keep living a life of my pity party, or I can take what happened to me and share it with others and see if it resonates with someone else that may have had skin cancer or maybe putting off a skin check.
Her message for young women:
if you want to look tan or have a glow, there are so many great options with spray tans or self tanners, and it's way safer than going out in the sun.
She needs skin checks every 3 months and makes sure to protect herself outdoors. Dina Demetrius, CBS News.
The number of new cancer cases and cancer deaths in Canada is expected to rise this year due to a growing and aging population. But overall, researchers say survival rates are up thanks to cancer prevention, detection, and treatment efforts. A new study in the journal Pediatrics examines the benefits and risks of raising a vegetarian child. Researchers in Toronto found kids eating plant-based diets had similar measures of growth and nutrition compared to those who eat meat, but young people with a vegetarian diet were more likely to be underweight. And scientists in Japan may have new evidence that autism begins in the womb. They identified immune abnormalities in the brain and gut of fetal mice who went on to develop that disorder. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the challenge of paying a monthly bill.
Inflation is pushing rent prices higher and higher. I'm Naomi Ruckham with what some people are doing to make ends meet.
Plus, thunderstorms increasing the next few hours. We're going to take a look at that coming up. Kramer's. Well, we've had periods of showers and thunderstorms kind of on and off throughout the day, and we do have a threat for severe weather as we go through the evening hours for us tonight, especially extreme southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and that is where we have a tornado watch out for about the next 5 hours or so as we get a line of showers and thunderstorms in. So majority of us are not under a watch, but once you get into Oklahoma, extreme southeastern Kansas, that is where we have the tornado watch. We've had a few tornadoes that have popped up, but mainly severe thunderstorm warnings at this point in time. All right, periods of showers and thunderstorms all day long. These have been non-severe, just kind of moderate storms. These are lifting off toward the north and to the east at this point in time, and it's starting to clear out a little bit as we get through northeastern Oklahoma. What has helped us out some today is we've had the clouds, we've had the scattered showers and thunderstorms, so our atmosphere hasn't become too unstable over the past couple hours, but it will become a little bit more unstable over about the next 2 hours as these start to roll in. It's going to be interesting to see exactly where these go. These storms may track mainly into our northern counties. These storms will kind of ride east into northeastern Oklahoma, extreme southwestern Missouri. So we may have a little column of not too much action through the central part of the 4-state area. So something we just got to watch over the next couple hours as these storms move in. They will start to increase over about the next hour or two in our western counties. Looks fine right now. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We've had the on and off showers and thunderstorms kind of push through the region. Greatest threat for severe weather, north central Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma, and then as you track farther north and east, that threat starts to decrease. Our main threat for most of us, 7 p.m. until about 11 p.m. So it's not a huge window, it's only a few hours, but we do have a threat for hail, wind, and we do even have a tornado threat, so we're going to elevate all of the threats as we go through the rest of the evening hours for us tonight. All right, let's go through time. Here's 7 p.m. You can see that line, showers and thunderstorms. Some of these are going to be broken up a little bit, but again, we have the threat for large hail, gusty winds, and we do at least have somewhat of a tornado threat northeastern parts of Oklahoma. But watch how fast this pushes through. It pushes east, starts to weaken a bit as it gets into southwestern Missouri. So here's 8:30, and then by 9 or 10 o'clock, most of these are gone. And then we don't have much of a severe threat from that point on. So after that, we kind of cool down. We drop back near 50 for us tonight. Tomorrow, kind of cool. We only warm up lower 60s for afternoon high, so it is going to be a little bit on the chilly side, 55 by noon. High temp right around 61. Then the clouds move right back in for us tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. So here's 6:30 in the morning on Wednesday, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, very similar to what we are seeing today. Heavy amounts of rain, we get a break, and then scattered thunderstorms pop up again. Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, we're going to have a severe threat again. Wednesday evening, all night long, Wednesday night, and then even a threat through the first half of the day on Thursday. So we're going to have a lot of rain as we go through the next few days. I would say on average, most of us will pick up 2 to 4 inches of rain by the time we get rid of these systems on Thursday. 61 tomorrow, again, severe threat till about 10 p.m. 67 on Wednesday, 71 on Thursday, but most of the weekend heading into Mother's Day is looking pretty good.
So in addition to the immediate threat of potentially severe weather tonight, we have a bit longer term possibility of some flooding with all this water.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks, Doug. Here's a look at our tower camera sponsored by R.A. Smith Construction as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. You can check it out anytime. You'll find it at koamnewsnow.com/power. Coming up, the rising cost of rent. First, though, we honor a local veteran of the Vietnam War. Exeter, Missouri native Dennis Lee served in the U.S. Navy aboard the USS San Diego. His duties included storekeeper. Seaman Dennis Lee, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, looking ahead to this week, the Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates by 0.5% following its 2-day policy meeting. It would be the first hike greater than a quarter since 2000 as the Fed ramps up its fight against inflation. Increases to interest rates make borrowing for things like homes and cars more expensive. Cost of living continues to go up, including the cost of housing. Some renters across the country are facing major price hikes. Naomi Ruckham reports.
I was getting a little bit stressed out.
Hedda Bates is stressed out because the rent on her apartment shot up 25%.
I try to save. I have an IRA. Those things are important to me, and taking a 25% increase on my rent, a lot of that would go away.
Bates lives in the Nashville area, and the price hikes are even worse in other major cities. Miami has seen rents jump 58% in the past 2 years. Memphis is up 41%, Las Vegas 34%, and in Phoenix, renters are paying 29% more on average.
Renters who are looking to move are likely to experience some sticker shock.
Realtor.com chief economist Danielle Hale says renters are getting priced out of many cities.
People are looking for affordability, and the best place for them to find affordability is in smaller towns and suburbs, a little bit further away from the hustle and bustle of the downtown metro area.
Bates wants to stay in her apartment and is bringing in a roommate to make ends meet.
It's a little bit deflating to go back to having to share your space, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
We know that times are tough for a lot of renters right now. What do you expect in the coming months?
So just as we're expecting home prices to slow, we are also expecting rent growth to slow, but to remain faster than what we would typically experience.
Hale expects overall rental rates to grow around 7% in 2022. That's higher than most years, but lower than the double-digit growth in 2021. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Final check of that potentially severe weather next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the start of a series called Modern Mom ahead of Mother's Day. Then on KOAM News at 6, Chris Warner is going to explain the new strategy for the Joplin Fire Department's efforts to attract recruits and why it's necessary. And we're going to hear from some people who lost their homes in the Andover, Kansas tornado. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Doug is keeping an eye on the still evolving weather situation.
Yes, we got showers, we got thunderstorms out toward Wichita and then down toward Oklahoma City. I really think the most severe are going to stay across Oklahoma. The ones near Wichita are kind of behaving because, again, we still have clouds. We still have scattered showers on top of us, so our atmosphere just isn't that unstable. So I'm not overly concerned about tonight, but something we want to continue to watch over the next few hours as we are going to have that severe risk, especially in northeastern Oklahoma, over about the next 3 or 4 hours. Kind of chilly tomorrow. Thunderstorms return Wednesday, another severe threat late Wednesday night, and even through at least the first half of the day on Thursday. And they're looking pretty good heading into Mother's Day weekend.
We'll be ready for that by then, for sure. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.